I brought it inside, opened it up, and there was a can of cider inside it. And I was told quite cheerfully by someone that it wasn't a mistake, it was a promotional item. When I spoke to HelloFresh, I just sort of said, how can you do this? How have you bypassed sort of ID checks and alcohol laws that we have in the UK? And their response was, when it's a promotional gift, we don't have to do that. And they only responded properly when I took the issue to social media. I was very clear that my campaign isn't anti-drinking. It's not just about people that are in addiction or alcoholism. It actually protects people that, for religious reasons, don't drink alcohol, for pregnant people, for people that actually just simply don't want alcohol sent into the homes for whatever reason. They don't have to be an alcoholic not to want it. There's a whole group of people that do not consent to having alcohol shoved in their faces. Part of the campaigns are so that there has to be explicit consent. There has to be an opt-in. It's not that difficult to put an opt-in, and it protects a whole bunch of people and also gives people dignity and choice.
What can people do to get involved in this campaign?
Yeah, I'd love them to. So you can go onto my website. It's www.idinclusion.org. There's a big thing at the top that says not everybody drinks. You can go on there and read about it, read the options, the opt-in things that I'm asking for. You can sign the petition. I've set up a change petition. You can just share it. It's not about one group versus another. It's just about choice and consent.
Hello and welcome everyone to one of Alcohol Review's occasional short video interviews. You'll find out more on the webpage and YouTube show notes. Please like and subscribe on there and check the link to see the benefits of the full service. So let's get started. People who decide to stop drinking alcohol can be vulnerable to restarting or relapsing, which can have long-term consequences for their health and well-being. My guest today, Samantha Morgan, was shocked to discover firsthand that companies in the UK can deliver alcohol samples without consent and is doing something about it. Welcome, Samantha.
Hi, thanks, Phil. Thanks for inviting me on. It's nice to speak to you today.
You're very welcome. Could you just start off just by describing, what happened and why, it distressed you?
Yeah, of course. So just under a month ago, 23rd of May, I had a HelloFresh box come to my house. It was left on my doorstep. I brought it inside, opened it up, and there was a can of cider inside it. I initially thought it was a mistake, that maybe somebody put it in there by accident in the warehouse or something like that. So I phoned HelloFresh and sort of initially gave them the benefit of the doubt. And I was told quite cheerfully by someone that it wasn't a mistake, it was a promotional item. So I have an issue with that for reasons that I know we're going to speak about. Just to be upfront, I'm in recovery, long-term recovery. Alcohol nearly killed me. I lost so much from it, and friends from alcoholism. I'm not anti-drinking, just to be upfront from the start at all, but I believe that companies have a responsibility to safeguard consumers and give them choice, which is why I've started Not Everybody Drinks, my campaign.
Okay, and just to be clear, this was a box that had come as a kind of introductory offer, or was it a box you ordered, or was this an item in a...
So I ordered the food box. I had no knowledge beforehand. They didn't tell me that it was going to contain alcohol. I didn't consent to it. I didn't order it. It was left on my doorstep for anyone to find. There was no ID check. Nothing, When I spoke to HelloFresh, I just sort of said, how can you do this? How have you bypassed sort of ID checks and alcohol laws that we have in the UK? And their response was, when it's a promotional gift, we don't have to do that. And I said, but I didn't order it. I'm in recovery. I don't want you to send this to my home. And again, their response was apparently that they automatically opted me in by default, in some hidden terms and conditions that I knew absolutely nothing about. And they only responded properly when I took the issue to social media on LinkedIn, and to be honest, I just didn't expect the response that I got. It was overwhelmingly positive. It went viral, essentially. Yeah.
HelloFresh, the company, the delivery company, a German company, has now stopped doing this, at least for the time being. But the law has not changed. It's a sort of voluntary step, maybe just to try and dampen down the publicity that you've created around it.
I mean, one thing I will say, credit to HelloFresh, they have paused it. Whilst it never should have happened, none of this is about a vendetta against HelloFresh. It's about a wider issue that I'm raising awareness of. Yes, they paused it as a result of me going public with it. And actually, thank you to everybody that contributed to my campaign before it even was a campaign on LinkedIn. But no, it hasn't changed. I've got quite a lot of updates to share with you all about the campaign. It's exploded within a month. The support has been phenomenal.
Or to have an alcohol-free home can be part of giving up alcohol for somebody who has a problematic relationship with alcohol of any description. It could be a severe one. It could be just somebody trying to cut down, and receiving alcohol could derail that attempt to cut down or do their dry January or whatever. So it's not an issue that's necessarily restricted to people with severe problems. It's about people who want to make choices.
Well, yeah, and that's right, and that's what I've raised in the campaign. When I wrote the campaign, because I realised that there was such an interest in this and a need for it, I was very clear that my campaign isn't anti-drinking. It's not just about people that are in addiction or alcoholism. It actually protects people that, for religious reasons, don't drink alcohol, for pregnant people, for people that actually just simply don't want alcohol sent into the homes for whatever reason. They don't have to be an alcoholic not to want it. There's a whole group of people that do not consent to having alcohol shoved in their faces. And when I expand it, as I brought into the campaign, that also includes when you leave alcohol on a hotel bed and proclaim that it's a gift, or when you put it in a gift basket at work. And part of the campaigns are so that there has to be explicit consent. There has to be an opt-in. It's not that difficult to put an opt-in, and it protects a whole bunch of people and also gives people dignity and choice. Maybe I would have liked a bar of chocolate, but I wasn't given the choice. They put alcohol in my face, in my home, and I'm going to bring in now something that's really important. I openly speak about being neurodivergent. It's part of the work that I do. I'm autistic and I'm ADHD. I'm late diagnosed. Now, here in the UK, there's a crisis. People like myself cannot access medication, quite a lot of us. Now, I don't know if you're aware, most of you listeners probably will be, ADHD and autism can cause impulsivity. They put alcohol in my home. I'm a recovering alcoholic who can't access ADHD medication to put that pause in. If I'd have had a bad day, I can't tell you what would have happened, because in my recovery, we always say, we don't drink today. We don't drink today. We can't predict the future. And that's why I don't bring it into my house. They did that without my consent, and they put me in that position. Thank God I was strong enough to tip it away. It's incredibly serious. In my campaign so far, I've moderated what I've said because I've needed to, but it is disgusting what they've done.
Mm-hmm. And you've set up a campaign around your experience and sort of broadened it to wider instances where people are gifted alcohol, if one considers it a gift. And what can people do to get involved in this campaign?
Yeah, I'd love them to. So you can go onto my website. It's www.idinclusion.org. There's a big thing at the top that says not everybody drinks. You can go on there and read about it, read the options, the opt-in things that I'm asking for. You can sign the petition. I've set up a change petition. You can just share it, share my posts. I'm on LinkedIn, slowly sort of going across other social media. Haven't really done that yet, but share the posts, support the campaign if you can. Know that I'm with you if you don't drink, and that there's a whole group of us now. We're building a community with this campaign. There's so many of us that are coming together, and we're all advocating for the same thing. We want choice, we want respect, we want to be included as non-drinkers. We don't want companies, organizations putting things on us that we don't want. And also that you can have a lot of fun. You can have so much fun without drinking, but also I respect people that do. It's not about one group versus another. It's just about choice and consent.
Well, yeah. I'll put a link to the website you mentioned in the show notes there, and you have managed to draw remarkable amounts of attention on LinkedIn, which I think probably is where I saw it, maybe on the BBC or BBC coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah. You also, I mean, there's positive coverage, and I understand you've also got some buy-in from NGOs working in the field and a parliamentary committee. Could you just tell it? I mean, you also got a little bit of blowback from negative responses from what you did as well. Could you maybe just go into that a bit, just to give people an idea of what happens when you talk about this topic?
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. Thank you for mentioning that. The campaign was on within weeks of me starting it on the BBC radio, and an article got published back by Turning Point. Thank you. I'm writing a blog for Alcohol Change UK. it's being taken to the Home Office, like, amazing. I can't believe it. However, yeah, sadly, I've had hate, not just hate, but actual sexism. Awful. There's a minority of people who attacked me online when the BBC and the East Anglian Daily Times shared an article about it. I had comments saying that I was trying to stop fun, comments about me being a single mother. Apparently, you know, that's why she's a single mother. I had comments saying that women shouldn't vote. You know, women shouldn't vote because I've asked for consent with alcohol. I mean, you know, they upset me, if I'm honest with you. At the beginning, they upset me, but I've got so much support behind me that overrides it. And actually, I think this is why it's so important to share this message, because it's never been drinkers versus non-drinkers. I'm not trying to remove alcohol gifts from people. I'm just trying to ask companies to put in consent. I'm not this villain that is trying to stop fun or choice. I just want both sides of the coin to have a choice, both groups of people. And I think that's right, you know? So yeah, it's still sad. You know, I sat and I got really upset about it one night, particularly the comment about me being a single mother. I'm not going to lie, but I think that this ultimately comes with issues like this because alcohol is so normalized. I'm seen as a villain by this minority because I'm apparently trying to stop it, which is not what I'm doing. But I'm, you know, reassured in the fact that I've got a lot of professional people and backing of, you know, places that support what I'm doing. So that really helps to balance it out. Yeah, like yourself,
I mean, I've heard comments from, you know, people who are sort of seasoned veterans in the public eye who admit to the fact they do get hurt by comments that appear on the internet. It's not without its impact, even for people who've done this for years with, you know, richly rewarded for that. So credit to you for putting up with these attacks for the public good. So we salute you for that. Could you just explain what have you got any future plans for this campaign or for your own work in this field?
Yeah, so the campaign's going to continue. You know, the more kind of the more sort of backing it's getting, the more kind of awareness is being raised by people like yourself and other places that are sharing my work, the more it's going to expand. Really, I can't tell you what's going to happen because it's literally been a month. This has just exploded. I did not predict any of this. In my work separate to the campaign, I'm an inclusion consultant and I've actually changed policy at a university before. I didn't mean to, but well, I did. So I'm looking at exploring probably a paid offer for organisations. I'm putting a lot of thought and care into it because it needs to be separate from the campaign but actually complement it. And I would like to offer organisations a way to include non-drinkers, make sure that everything's opt in, and really just kind of train people in it. I think that would be a really great thing to do and it would support this. Yeah, and also I do a lot of work on neurodivergence and sort of inclusion and accessibility in my wider work as well, which I love. So yeah.
Well, thank you very much for the you know, this quite a spectacular introduction to this this field. You've identified a topic that a lot of people are simply unaware of. I certainly didn't know about this loophole. So looking forward to seeing what happens next and wish you all the best in what comes in your career and your campaign.
Thank you very much. It was really lovely to meet you today.